Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and today we're going to give you some mind-blowing trucking industry facts. Now, before we actually get into the actual facts itself, a lot of people think that they know what trucking is about, but they don't know how much America depends on trucking. So if you're proud to be an American or live in this country, you have to be proud of everything that helps it move and keep going. To give you an example, how big is the trucking industry actually in America? So it employs about 3.5 million drivers. That's a whole lot of people who are behind the wheel driving a truck and making money transporting products from point A to point B. And some interesting facts were kind of discovered. If there was 0 truckers actually driving on the road, there'd be a food shortage in as little as 72 hours. That's only 3 days. There'd be a fuel shortage in 48 hours. That's 2 days, right? And this actually happened in a country called Brazil, where all the truckers in the entire country, they stopped, and then within 3 days, everything in the stores are empty because of all the consumption that happens, right? And imagine us being America and being that much bigger. It will get even crazier. The overall industry is about $680 billion a year, and it employs over 7 million people across the entire industry, and it's something that touches every single sector. So the economy and the country runs on trucking. Trucking is the backbone, and if you fully understand that, you're going to be so appreciated on all the cool things that come with becoming a CDL driver. If you want to take advantage of this massive industry and get your CDL license, because you're going to have unlimited potential on the upside, as well as you're going to have a baseline of security because you'll never get laid off as a truck driver, it might be the best option for you. In order for that to happen, come to Driving Academy. We're the best truck driving school in the entire country. But now, let's get right into the facts. For amazing fact number 1, it says that the trucking industry is actually about 5% of the overall GDP of America. Now, for those people who don't understand what GDP is, that stands for Gross Domestic Product. And pretty much in the fancy terms, all that means is this is everything that the country has produced and all the money that has moved throughout the country in 1 year's time, right? So trucking by itself is 5% of the overall GDP. That's government spending, consumer spending, military spending, all of that stuff. Trucking is 5%. That's a huge number. Like we talked about, $680 billion a year. All you need is a small little fraction of that to take care of all of your worries. So for our second amazing fact, one of the questions are going to be, hey, what kind of stuff is transported the most? So the top 5 items that are transported the most in trucks are going to be clothing, food, furniture, electrical goods, and machinery goods. So those are the top 5 things that are actually transported in trucks across the country. For the next one is going to be, there's over 200,000 female long-haul drivers, and that number is growing. So we see it here every single day at our school, where we get more and more students that are females who want to get into the trucking industry for many different reasons. They want to make more money, they want to be able to travel the country, they want a nice stable career, and so many other reasons. So if that's something that you want, there's a whole bunch of women who are looking to do that with you as well. The other cool thing about the trucking world itself is there's about 15.7 million trucks in this country. And a fun fact is, if you actually stack them all together, they'll actually go from the earth all the way to the moon. And that's a pretty cool thing to do. Now, you might be saying, well, how is there 15 million trucks in the country if there's only 3.5 million drivers? So trucks in this case is much widely used, right? So this is pickup trucks and small trucks. Non-CDL trucks are included in this number. But also, when it comes to CDL trucks, there are, of course, more CDL trucks out there than there are drivers. That's because there's an 80,000 driver shortage right now. So if there was no shortage, all the trucks would be full of drivers and you'd be good to go. But 80,000 driver shortage means that there's at least 80,000 trucks out there that want a driver that don't have them yet. And I'm sure that number is a little bit higher because when you take into account all the trucks that are parked in all the dealerships across the country, a lot of those trucks are built without any drivers in them yet. So there's a whole lot of opportunity for you to get into the industry. The next fact is 1 out of every 15 jobs in the US is directly affected by trucking. So that kind of tells you all the mass of how big this industry actually is. Trucking, like I said, is connected to everything. So anything that you do currently at your job, I'm sure a truck driver got paid in anything that you've touched, right? So if you're working an office job, the paper that you got delivered, a truck driver probably did that, right? If you're working at a restaurant, a guy like Cisco Foods who's delivering the food to your restaurant all the time, he's making buco bucks doing exactly what he wants to do, getting himself closer on the road to freedom. And that's exactly what we help people every single day get done as well. For the next fact, it's pretty cool about engines. Did you know that the actual trucking engine was designed to go over 1,000,000 miles. In comparison to a car, 100,000 to 200,000 miles is the exact comparison to 1,000,000 miles on an actual truck. So that means these trucks are expensive, they're huge, they're big, but they're built to go very long distances for a long period of time without any major breakdowns itself. Now, with those huge engines, how much actually consume when it comes to the fuel side? So according to this stat, there's 50 billion gallons of fuel every single year consumed by truckers and by trucks. That's nearly 13% of the entire country's fuel consumption. That's a pretty big number itself, but these things are big boys and they need fuel to keep going. An average truck miles per gallon, you're talking about 8 miles per gallon on an average truck. So when you're traveling 80,000 pounds, you're traveling many, many miles, thousands of miles a week. That's how you can kind of tell where you're going to use a whole lot of fuel. Now, before we actually get into the bonus of facts itself, I want you to like and subscribe this video real quick. Make sure you hit that bell to notify yourself of any time that we're coming out with new content. We try to post every single week and we're coming out with new content pretty much daily. So make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms, and let's get into the bonus content. Now for the bonus content, we got this guy Charles. Charles actually was the inventor of the truck over 100 years ago, and his first truck was invented in 1914. And his motivation to actually build the truck for the first time was actually because he had a customer who wanted to haul his boat. So in order to haul his boat, he had to build something that was pretty big, pretty strong, pretty hefty to bring that boat on land and to move it from one point to another. Another bonus fact is going to be an average driver who is committed to this can drive about 115 to 125,000 miles per year. And in their career, they can be doing over 3 million miles. Now, once you get to that 3 million mile mark, you are considered on a different level, right? So the Hall of Famers, as you know, in a lot of different sports, 3 million mile mark, that's when you really get up there. There are people who hit the 4 and 5 million mile mark, and safe miles are super, super important in making sure that you're driving all across the country. And these are all different cool things that you can become once you actually get your CDL license and you become a 3 million mile. Imagine just walking in, like that's an actual big thing. Like, I don't know if they give you pins or anything like that, depending on the company that you work for, but it's actually pretty big for you to be a veteran and drive over 3 million miles in your career. And for the last fact that you should know is that out of all the trucks that we just learned about today, 70% of all trucks on the road are owned by small businesses. And by small businesses, I mean businesses that own 10 trucks or less, which tells you that the market is available for everybody, right? So a lot of people getting into the trucking industry itself and getting their CDL license have the dream of becoming their own boss. And the majority of the people in the trucking industry are their own boss itself. And the cool thing about it is you get to decide how big or how small you actually want to make your empire. Is it something that you want to kind of really scale out, like some of our graduates who have like 13 trucks and making more money than they've ever made in their past? Or is it something, hey, I just want to kind of have one truck, live a good lifestyle, work 2 or 3 days a week, make all the money I need to pay my bills and kind of just live that way? And the beautiful thing about trucking is there's so much flexibility. So if you liked any of these facts, and if maybe you're convinced, yeah, let's go into the trucking industry itself, get yourself a CDL license. There's a pretty much 2-step process. Step number 1, you have to pass a few different written tests to get yourself a CDL permit. Step number 2, you got to pass a 2.5-hour-long road test to get your actual license. That being said, here at Driving Academy, we have what we call guaranteed training courses. We're going to give you over 100 hours of training plus unlimited tries at the road test, which means you're going to keep going for the test until you pass and no extra cost to you. So if you're interested, make sure you click on the link below or check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com. Thanks and have a great day. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.